What's up, everybody? Patrick LaRouche here from Evolve Restorative Therapy. You can find me at livepainfreeprocess.com. Today, what I'm going to talk to you about is the natural progression of the healing cycle or the process. This is going to be kind of fun because it shows you the illustration and gives you a little bit more knowledge about what naturally happens within the body. Makes me all giddy inside, you know what I'm saying? So, what happens when you actually break a bone or get a cut? Or, sprain an ankle? All these different things happen. You have to realize your body's going to go through a specific set of events. Just going to happen. No matter what. From the very, very smallest thing to the biggest catastrophic thing. What I'm going to go is bring you to the catastrophic thing. We break a bone. What happens is, number one, is your body will lock down the area. Stop it cold. It will stop every aspect of movement, blood flow, everything, because it's going to want to protect that area for all it's worth. Like, everything is just going to be protected. So let's talk about a broken bone. You're not going to be able to move that leg. It's going to clip it very, very high, and it's not going to be able to move it whatsoever because it doesn't want any more damage done, because if it's broken, it can sever more vessels, all these different things. But now let's talk about something really small, a sprained ankle. Same concept that occurs. It's going to stop the movement there because it doesn't want to do any more damage. Next thing's next. What's going to happen is it's going to swell this area with blood, right? It's going to swell it all together. Broken bone, a lot of blood flow is going to go there. It's going to blow up like a balloon. Sprained ankle still blows up with the balloon, but the difference is it's on a lower degree. So it's not just completely with blood, it's with blood, white blood cells, things like that, which now can go pussy, which can go many different areas. Now it's doing work. This is where everyone starts to make their mistake. They start to mess with it. What you have to realize is during this phase, once this doesn't happen, you have to allow it to do what it needs to do at first. You're going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be awkward feeling. You're going to want to do something. A lot of people, like for a swollen ankle, they pack it with ice. I understand the concept of ice. You want the swelling to go down. But the reason why the swelling is there is because it's killing things. It's rebuilding things. You want to contain it. Like, one of the best things you can do is don't take off your shoe. Because as soon as you take off the shoe, it swells up completely because it has more room to breathe. But in my head, the way that I'm teaching all my clients is, all right, you get a swollen ankle, don't just walk it off, but think about the movement that feels comfortable. Get more blood flow to run through it. With a broken bone, you got to let it do what it needs to do. It needs to mend. It needs to set. That's why they cast you, folks, because it needs that time to set really, really still so the bone regains its strength. With a sprained ankle, though, you can now start learning instantly how far you can move it. And it's going to be millimeters at first. Oh, okay, this is as much as I can do. This is as much as I can do. This is as much as I can do. And then eventually, within days, you might be able to get it a little bit better. All depending on how well you communicate with your body, that's how fast you can do it. Comfortably, all on your body's terms. Which now brings us to here. So now your body's now rebuilding things. During this phase, your body is going to show you a lot more heat, a lot more different sensations all together. It's going to be doing miraculous things. And let me tell you this, healing is not a fun, happy-go-lucky place. It's a freaking combat zone. Things are dying, things are blowing up, everything is just crazy. That's going to be the beauty part about it, because now that you know it's going to be a war zone, you're going to expect some things to be going on down there. With a broken bone, it's the same degree. But this is the difference. The more you're aware of what's happening, the realer it is to your body. The more you keep on looking at it and focusing on it, the body will start dealing with it faster. So with a broken bone, we just set it and forget it. We put the cast on it. Oh, it's going through. It's just going to go through its motions. With an ankle, we do the complete opposite. Is we mess with it and mess with it and mess with it. And we just keep on shredding things apart. That's what keeps the sprained ankle going longer. Broken bone, we forget about it. That's what makes it stay as long as it stays. But if we focused and looked at it and brought our attention to it, the body will start giving us more sensations because it's doing more with it, because you're looking at it. That's the beauty part about this. The more you start knowing where you are in the whole scheme of things, that's how much faster your body will move. So now that it's rebuilding, it's doing things, it's giving you sensations, start still working with it, getting it to move, because you're still looking for that blood flow. You need things to circulate, which then it starts to mend and starts to pack itself together. This is when you need to start doing more active work. You need to start pushing it slightly. So once you start with a sprained ankle and you're able to now get full range of motion, not full range of motion, but range of motion, you could start doing it. Then you can start actively doing more rehab-based stuff with a sprained ankle. With a broken bone, inside the cast, you can start walking on the cast. This is with a broken bone, it's harder to know where you are because you have the cast there. So your sensation is going to be dulled because you have that caster. So be ridiculously careful. If you're not used to doing this all the time on your own, I wouldn't say do that. So that's my disclaimer. Do not do this if you're not skilled with a broken bone. But with a sprained ankle, as it's able to start moving, that's when you start to put a little bit of weight load on it. A little bit of weight load. Or you're going into PT and you're starting to do the balance work where you're balancing on one leg and now doing the bending of the knee. So you're putting more weight load, asking it to do more. That's when you do it here, when you're able to start processing and it's starting to realign itself and teaching itself how to do things. Then you have a pretty clean bone. It's going to have issues there. It's going to have the scar tissue. That's when you start doing a lot of the realignment of the fascial layer, the muscle tissue, all these two phases is when you start to really ramp up what you need to do. On the rehab world, whether it be massage therapy, stretches, passive stretching, trigger point work, all these different concepts within the world of rehab itself, start putting it in these last two phases. It's worthless doing it here. Let me rephrase. You can do more harm doing it there. It's not worthless, but you can do more harm here, especially if you're not skilled. That's what you have to realize. Knowledge is power, folks. Once you start realizing where you are, then you can start navigating. And then it becomes a less fear-driven object. Like, oh my God, I can't do this. I need to rest. I need to stop. I need to get off of it. But if you know where you are, in what phase you are, then you can be like, I can do it this much and that's it. That's all I got. But all you got gave you that much more room to move. And it's picking up speed. I guarantee you, the more you play with it, it will start to get better and better and better. But with each one of these phases come a different timeline. Like if for a broken bone, you're in for a long haul. It's going to be a little while before you get completely functional again. But within a sprained ankle, it can be a couple days before you can move it again, or a couple hours, depending on the sprain, depending on your mindset, depending on how much you trust yourself. It can move through this process relatively fast. You just need to know where you are in the whole scheme of things, and then you can make it go even faster. Imagine that. Get injured, back on the bike, swimming again, running again, doing all the things that you love based on the fact that, oh man, I got hurt. Okay, I got hurt. So be it. Now it's time to actually do this phase even better, so I'm even stronger next time. So getting hurt's actually a good thing if it's done properly. If you know where you are, you can make it even better because now your body's deconstructing. It's reconstructing everything here. Once you break it, it has to reconstruct. And it's going to reconstruct based off of what you tell it at this phase. Now that's my gem right there. If you reconstruct and you put a little bit of weight load on here, a little bit, it's going to make it even stronger next time. Imagine that. That's when muscle tissue starts to really fire. But when it comes out to muscle tissue, it's going to bind. Now, I tell you guys this all the time. A muscle tissue needs to move, it needs to contract, it needs to communicate. So if you break something and on a muscular level and you don't realign it properly, now you have adhered tissue and now it's not going to work. It's going to protect itself really good, but it's not going to be functional. So that's going to be the tricky part. That's going to need you a little bit of help for, and that's the injury cycle. That's it. It has different days, worked with it, but it's all based off of your mindset. It's all based off of what you believe you can do. And once you know this, you understand where you are, then you can speed through pretty much any injury because you know the injury process. You know the healing process, the cycle of it. And that goes for everything from a pulled tooth, a migraine headache, anything. It goes just like that. It's going to lock it down. It's going to start to rebuild, which is not going to feel good. It's going to a loading phase where when it's really rebuilding and restructuring, and then there's the end result. You can move again. That's it. That's in short, how your body does the healing phase. So, folks, if you loved it, share it. If you know somebody that's injured and having trouble with where are they, send it to them. And if you're not part of the family, I would love to have you guys here. So folks, sign up. I would love to give you this and then email me like everybody else is doing and saying, what is this? And what is that? And how do you deal with this? And I would love to answer you guys. So until next time, bye.